Hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. So, this is bonus message part two. If you didn't see part one yet, you'll want to do that first because otherwise, you're not going to know where we are in this one. The free link to part one is right there in the description box. So, we're going to pick up right where we left off, which was definitely a cliffhanger. We were talking primarily about the individual who has been healing and their perception of the person who's no longer a part of their life. They view them as being very indulgent. They view them as someone who nothing moved forward with them, and they're just about healed from this person. And ironically, they may be just about healed from this person at the same moment in time that the character who caused them grief and pain, or more or less kind of abandoned them, is pretty much getting free of the energy that they remained stuck in, the circumstances that they got themselves tangled up in and remained in. So it feels as if we have possibly two things colliding here, but let's check. Let's immediately take a look at that. This feels like the wrong deck. Hold on. I don't like it if I can feel that it just feels wrong in my hands. I need a different deck. This one, I think. No, I'm sorry. That's the one. We might use that one too. I'll leave you within range. Sorry, I talk myself through which decks I want sometimes. So I want to take a look at that Eight of Swords more than anything. The Eight of Swords in the reverse. Seven of Cups. Lot of confusion. If the character who we referred to as the villain in part one, who seems to be revealed, the villain was themselves and their choices that they made, and those choices to stay in a situation and abandon someone that they profess to care about, that whole situation, and there were lots of lies surrounding this. That situation was like the villain. At this point, we saw them wanting to come forward to apologize for they want to apologize for like not knowing what to do to move forward, or to not, they intentionally left things without a goodbye, I think, or without any explanation, because they didn't want things to be over. So they thought, if I say nothing at all, nothing, there isn't an ending, there isn't anything resolved. With that Knight of Pentacles sideways, that's the way I'm inclined to interpret that. But when we talked to her, the person who's been healing from this, she said they're never coming back. They were a completely selfish, self-indulgent person. She sees him as a King of Wands in the reverse, not a favorable view. She said they were all about getting what they wanted from me. That's all they did. They might have come in for intimacy. They came in to get what they wanted. And it has been a very painful thing for her to come to this realization after all this time has passed, and all this silence. There's been total silence between them, and all this healing has been happening. And she's just about at that 9 of Wands. She's pretty much over this now. And that's when we see that Eight of Swords in the reverse is now clarified by the Seven of Cups. I'm inclined to say that now that whatever they committed themselves to, because it was the easier path, they thought that they could people please more individuals that way. They thought it would be an easier route for themselves to abandon her and stay stuck in some other situation that they, in their own mind, they were like, in 3 years, though, I can get all this money. Maybe then I'll appease people. I'll get my inheritance. I'll do what, get someone's approval, whatever it was. And it was suggested, all those things were suggested in part one. Now that they might be done with that situation, I think they're completely confused. Look at how many faces they have. And all these masks they don't even know who they are. They carry yet another mask in their hands. They had 4 different masks that they wore. This person they've lost who they even are. They don't know who they are at this point. I can see why, because I actually feel a little bit bad for this person in the sense that they have no idea. Look at this 7 of Pentacles. They're sideways, and their head is open, and we have this ballerina spinning around like one of those wind-up music boxes. I feel like this person was like everyone's performing monkey, do this, do that. And I think so much time has passed that they've lived this way. they don't even know who they are. They're so confused about, what have I done with the years that have passed, and what have I built? I've built nothing. I've built no solid relationships. I've never been who I am. I know I'm further away now from knowing who I am than I've ever been. I feel like this is kind of hitting them full force. When we never live according to anything that's true for us, and in order to do that, we always have a secret agenda, and we're being different things for different people, all the while with these little secret machinations in the back of our minds, trying to figure out how I'm going to get the best deal out of this. I'm feeling like what they stayed stuck in has come to a close now, and they're more confused than they've ever been, because I don't think that they ended up with the big payoff that they expected. And I think that they are unclear about, I said I did this for a reason. I abandoned somebody that I cared about, and I stayed stuck in another connection. And I had these secret plans of all the kinds of things that I was going to end up with, and the financial success and abundance that I was going to end up with. And I don't even know what I have at this point. Either it's still very up in the air as to whether or not their commitment to something for like some contractual amount of time has yielded any great results. They still don't even know what the outcome is. Their head is like spinning, it's reeling. I think that this character is like almost like dizzy. And yet we have this King of Cups, this person who, the one thing is, their real emotions have been so suppressed and so hidden for so long. Even here, the moon represents what's hidden. The moon is also a great profound pull on emotions, but we've got only a sliver of their real emotions ever show, yet they have a ton of emotions. I think that they have suppressed everything about who they are and what they authentically want to such an extent that there's only one like grounding thought in the midst of all this confusion and chaos about, why did I do what I did? Now that the contract is ending, now that I'm free of it, I actually don't really see, what did I get for having made all those like shady little deals where I stayed connected to things that I didn't want but pretended I did, and dropped other people that I wanted to be with. And what is left that's real? Only one thing, which is how I do feel emotionally about one person, but I've hidden that for so long. We've got a Knight of Swords in the reverse, and we have a Nine of Wands in the reverse. I think it's coming crashing down on them. There's no way back. They feel utterly defeated. It's like it's just now striking them. I made all the wrong decisions. Now there is no sweeping back in to go see the person that I love and fixing things with them. In fact, I can't believe that this is perhaps completely over. This isn't something I can recover. It's like they're just now getting perspective on what they've done. Ooh, that's not an easy story on their part at all, is it? The Creatrix in the reverse and the Three of Cups in the reverse. I think it is hitting them full force now that they're free, now that they could return to the person that they loved. And this was all part of their kind of weird, devious plan. I'll abandon the person that I love. I'll stay in a contract for several years. Then eventually I'll get what I want out of that contract after, having been a dancing monkey for everybody, pretending to be this, pretending to be that, pretending to be this, pretending to be that. And I think A, they're exhausted from the games that they played, and B, it didn't yield any results that they initially thought would made sense to do this. And C, it's hitting them like a ton of bricks that there's no manifesting that person back into their life. There's no Three of Cups. I don't think that there's any romantic opportunities for them whatsoever. And I think that this is like, it's a stunner. I think that they are really being hit by the full force of, sometimes we don't recognize what our actions are going to result in until way later on. I said I was going to use this other deck. Hold on. Let's go over here and let's talk about her again. Him, her, it doesn't matter. I don't read for genders. We've got an Ace of Wands in the reverse, and we have a Five of Wands. I really think this, in her mind, is over. I think she has no what she's dealt with in these, and I'm going to say it's been a long time, in the time that they've been separated apart and she's been healing, she's been coming to more and more conclusions about this person, and ever more unfavorable, because the more time has passed, the more she's gotten perspective on who they were, on what they really were, on the choices that they made, on her perspective of this person has made her lose all passion for them. And to top it off, with the 5 of Wands here, you notice that we have like the birds, it's all conflict, and we have the serpent wrapped around the arrows. She's saying, what I realize is that where this person goes, there will always be nothing but bizarre fighting and conflict. These birds are fighting over arrows in the sky, which that right there puts them at risk at, you know, kind of like falling to the ground. And they're fighting over arrows because birds try to collect, sticks and things like that to build a home with. But what they don't even realize is, not only are they first off at risk, and they're not even choosing something that's sensible. You can't build a very good nest out of something as, big and strong and thick and unbending as an arrow, right? They'd be better off getting more malleable, twigs and things like that. But instead, no, they want to fight over these arrows. And then tangled up, we have a serpent. Well, that serpent could strike either one of these birds in mid-flight. They don't even know that they scooped up, in their greed and their arguing, they scooped up the agent of their demise, and they brought it with them. I think she's looking at them saying, not only do I have zero attraction for this person anymore, all I see is that the way they live their life is, when they are so overwhelmed by greed, they will fight to get things that don't even make any sense, about why they're fighting somebody else and playing these games. And the destruction that they wreak is their own destruction, because greed tends to lead to self-destruction, right? And I think she just sees this person that way, and she says, the last thing I would want is to deal with somebody that operates that way, because they will crash my life down too. If I got with a person like that, they would crash my life. They don't make good decisions. They make selfish decisions. Everything is about what they can get. Everything is about what they want. Everything is about, I don't care. I'm going to fight anybody and waste all this energy fighting and ultimately destroying everything around me, and fighting over things that they wouldn't have even been sensible in the first place. I don't want somebody like that in my life. And I think she's realizing that had she held on to this, she might even be kind of chiding herself, going, I can't believe I let this one hurt me so much, because it really was crashing my life to be so wounded over them. This is not somebody that had I really known the ins and outs of what was going on right at the gate, I wouldn't have been attracted to this person. But because they used a lot of secretive tactics, we saw that in part 1, it's really hard to figure out what's going on. She just knows that because they've been gone for so long, it's obvious that they were building elsewhere. But because there was a lover's bond here, and the lover's bond was strong even when they disconnected from her. We saw the lover's card here from part 1. And I think it's like, it was very confusing, because she knew and they knew that this was love, that there was something real here. So how is it that everything was destroyed? Because they chose to go and be connected somewhere else. She knows that they actually, to the extent that they can love anyone, they did love her. She also knows that they did something that they didn't want her to be privy to. They abandoned, they didn't give her closure. They walked away from a connection on purpose without any real information, because they either didn't want to be judged for what they were doing, they didn't want to close a door, so they thought, I'll just say nothing. I'll make a really terrible decision. I'll abandon her because I really want to fight for this money that I think I'm going to get later on if I appease somebody and become their dancing monkey and jump through all the hoops that my family sets up, or whatever it was. But now that they've done all that, it's like they've been gone for so long that she has intuitively put puzzle pieces together, not the full picture, right? Because how could she know everything? She only knows how they treated her. They weren't there for me. They're not coming back. This was all a ploy for them to get what they wanted. They act in a selfish, indulgent way. They don't mature. They don't grow. I need to let go of this, because honestly, why would I have been attracted to somebody like this? clearly, if they are dealing with somebody else when they supposedly loved me, then they care more about getting involved in drama than they care about really building a life off of their own merit with someone that they care about. So even if this person genuinely loves me, their selfishness and their commitment to drama and intrigue is greater than the love that they feel for another person. This person is basically pretty lost, and I think she's acknowledging that, recognizing it. King of Coins in the reverse. She may see them as somebody who they don't have a strong foundation of who they are, so they're going to continue to make choices like this in life. They could be somebody who wants the easy life. They want someone else to pay their bills. They feel entitled to that. So no matter if they love her, they'll still possibly always be questing for money and resources that they want given to them. And I suggest that because this person wants to kick back, look like they're super wealthy, but in the reverse, they're like, yeah, I'm entitled to live that life. I shouldn't have to work for it. This character works hard for it, and they do get to sit back and enjoy, what they've done. This character says, I want that easy life, but I don't want to work for it. I want so there I feel like there's always going to be this weird intense grappling for money, and that's going to be their undoing, and I think she knows it. I think that's why this is done now. We got a Knight of Wands in the reverse. She just keeps saying, I don't want this. I shut this down now. So where is she at with things at this point? Where is she at this point in time? Because we saw them, we got a Two of Wands in the reverse, we got a Five of Pentacles, and we got the Three of Swords. I think she's left this heartbreak behind. It's been a long time. She is fully detaching. She was in this storyline, she was the innocent in this who got caught in the crossfires, but it doesn't matter to her anymore. She's done. She's aware that this person abandoned or did this love wrong. We had this golden temple that they could have been in, and instead it's too far gone now. So it is just what it is. She's going to chalk it up as a loss and move on, is what I see here. Does it suck? It does. But she's going full-blown Queen of Wands mode. They lost me. I didn't lose them. They lost me. I will move on, and I will have someone that really knows who they are, that isn't, going to make these tragic. We got a 10 of Swords and we got an 8 of Cups. She is totally leaving this behind. Okay. What about for them? Because they're in a place where it's crashing down on them that they've lost her for good. They sense it. They feel it. The full implication of what they've done is making sense to them now. The World card upright. And this is Sophia. She's Greek for wisdom. They are finally like looking up and seeing, look at the life I've created for myself. Death card in the reverse. So the world is usually a new beginning, but in this case, it simply is a new way of understanding the choices that they made and what it led to. It led to their lack of growth. All this time that they invested someplace else, thinking they were going to be sly, thinking they were going to get all this money, then eventually they'd pop back into her world, only to discover all the choices that they made kept them right where they were. They wasted all that time. They didn't end up rich. They didn't end up with anything. Now they just want to escape. Now they want to go ahead and they want to move forward in life. They desperately want to run away from the choices that they made, but there isn't real change in them. I don't think this person has actually grown. No, they haven't. We just got the Fool card at a jaunty little reversed angle. We've got the Star and we got the King of Wands. They may be like absolutely fleet-footed, racing back toward her, not because they've changed, but they're racing in toward her to desperately try to say, no, I'm the king of Wands. I can heal this with you. I can heal this with you. But with the Fool in the reverse, I think is a foolish action because she's gone. She's done. Judgment, Three of Wands. No. Just give me time. Just give me time. I'm going to be different now. We could patch this up over time. I think that they're going to, I don't know if this person's going to almost beg or what, but they are racing in at this point. 10 of Cups sideways. No. We can rebuild, right? It's a question mark that we're being left with, even in their own words. 7 of Swords. I think they're lying to themselves. Even if they are coming in, I think that they know that it's not true. She's not taking them back. I think that this story ends with them not really making change. They won't admit that their choices have consequences and that this is how the story ends, because they can't just decide things are going to be one way They actually have to be a different quality of person, and they really don't change. They just live in fantasy is what this looks like. I'm sorry, this was a tough one. I'm gonna end this here.